Okay, we are going to be reviewing reflexive verbs and hopefully learning some new stuff as well. So remember, with reflexive verbs, you have to have the reflexive pronoun. So the reflexive pronouns me, te, se, nos, and se. Remember here it's se regardless of whether it's singular or plural, masculine or feminine, doesn't matter at all. It's always going to be se for third person. So there's a couple different ways that we can use reflexive verbs, and the first way, the way that we're most familiar with, is when you use them with yourself, to say that you do something to yourself. For example, me baño. I bathe myself, or I take a bath. Um, you use these verbs reflexively when it's something that you do to yourself or something that somebody else does to themselves. And remember that generally you always have to put your pronoun before your conjugated verb. So I would say me baño. But if I have two verbs in a row, for example, if I want to say I'm going to take a bath, I could say me voy a bañar, or I could say voy a bañarme. And in this case, I attach it to the end. Either one is totally fine. Okay, so I could also say I am taking a bath. If I wanted to use the progressive tense, I could say me estoy bañando. Or I could say estoy bañándome. And if I attach the pronoun to the ing, I have to do an accent on either the ondo or the endo, has to have an accent. So remember, normally you have your pronoun before the verb. You can put it after your verb if you have two verbs in a row. So voy a bañar, estoy bañando, you can attach it to the end. Also, if you have a positive command, for example, bañate, take a bath, then I attach the pronoun to the end and I add an accent on the second to last vowel or the second to last syllable of the verb itself or on the stem. So if I want to say bathe yourself, if it's a positive command, I attach the pronoun at the end. If it's a negative command, I put it before the verb. No te bañes, don't take a bath. So, generally before the verb, it goes after and attached if you have two verbs in a row. It can also go before if you don't want to do it at the end. You don't have to. If it's a positive command, it has to be attached at the end. If it's a negative command, it goes before the conjugated verb. So, that's the placement of where you put the pronouns when you're using a reflexive verb about yourself. There's another way to use reflexive verbs, and it's called reciprocal reflexive verbs. And remember, that's when you do things to each other. So, there's only two of these pronouns that you're able to use, and it is these two because it has to involve more than one person, obviously. So it cannot be the singular form of the reflexive verb because it has to be you and somebody else or two other people. So, for example, mis gatos y yo nos abrazamos todos los días. My cats and I hug each other every day. Nos abrazamos. I'm saying that we do it to each other, and I'm using the reflexive verb. So it has to be the nos, and it has to match because we're doing it to each other. This is not true, really. I try to hug them, and they try to escape. But mis gatos se pelean todos los días. This is very true. My cats fight with each other every day. So again, it's reflexive. It's going to be the plural form of the reflexive because it involves more than one person or more than one animal. My cats fight each other every day. Okay. Sometimes this can be a little bit confusing. For example, if you say Romeo y Julieta se matan. This can mean two very different things because se matan could be just this self-reflexive verb, which means they kill themselves, or it could mean this each other verb, they kill each other. So you definitely want to make sure that you're able to differentiate between the two. So if I want to say Romeo and Juliet kill themselves, I would say Romeo y Julieta se matan a sí mismos. Or if it was two women, it would be así mismas. They kill themselves. If for some reason I want to say they kill each other, Romeo y Julieta se matan el uno al otro would be they kill each other. And if it were two women, it would be se matan la una a la otra. But because there's one man and Spanish is sexist, we have to automatically do the masculine form. So you're definitely going to want to know the difference between these two. Okay, they do it to themselves versus they do it to each other. Okay, there's a list of verbs that can mean very different things if you use them reflexively or if you don't use them reflexively. So, for example, despedir, say, when it is reflexive, means to say goodbye. When it's not reflexive, it means to fire. As in, like, my boss fired me. Mi jefe me despidió, which you wouldn't really hopefully want to say. So you definitely want to know the difference between that. For hacerse, when it's used reflexive, it means to become, like to become rich or to become a lawyer. Obviously, when it's not reflexive, it means to make or to do. Irse, when it's reflexive, it means to leave. When it's not reflexive, it means to go, like to go to the movies, versus to leave your house would be irse. Llevarse, when it's used reflexively, it's when you use it reciprocally with more than one person, it means to get along, like to get along well or to get along badly, versus llevar by itself can mean to carry or to wear or to bring. Quedarse, when it's reflexive, means to stay in a place for a while, like me quedo en Gainesville por 5 años, I'm staying in Gainesville for 5 years. When it is not reflexive, it means to be found, kind of, or to be located. Like if you wanted to say Oak Hall is located in Gainesville, right? Oak Hall queda in Gainesville. Ponerse, when it's reflexive, to put on, or it can also mean to become if you're talking about an emotion, like to become sad. Se pone triste. And poner, obviously by itself, to put. Volverse also means to become, kind of like hacerse, but something more violent, like to become blind or deaf or crazy. And then volver, obviously when it's not reflexive, to return. So these are some pretty big differences between reflexive and not reflexive forms of this verb, or of these verbs. So make sure that you study up on those. Okay, and then you can make a lot of verbs reflexive. You can just add a se at the end, and it means to get. So most of these verbs are emotional verbs or thinking verbs and things like that. Cansar, to be tired. If you want to say to get tired, you would just use cansar se. Contentar, to be happy. If you wanted to say to get happy, you would say contentarse. Aburrir, to bore or to be bored. Aburrirse, to get bored. Enfermar, to be sick. Add a se, enfermarse, to get sick. Preocupar, to be worried. Preocuparse, to get worried. So you can pretty much make any verb reflexive that's an emotion verb or something similar. If you want to say to get sad or whatever, just add a se to the end. And that should be it. Thank you.